when it comes to cheese graters, how frequently do you use the other sides that aren't like the main cheese grating
I think
thing?
never.
Have you ever done it?
Is it one of those things where like, you know, there's a cheese grater and the cheese grater normal one, everyone knows what we're talking
Like
about.
the big, like the
big ones,
shredder, like the
shreddery
shredder ones. Yeah.
And then like, you would usually have a separate thing if you want to find a
Yeah,
cut.
if you want like a micro peel. Yeah, a micro peel.
Yeah.
But anyway, I used it
Never
for the
had.
first time yesterday.
How did it go?
And it clogged.
Yeah, it
just
does
clogged.
do that,
I shouldn't have
doesn't
done it. Anyway, should we get going?
I think we should.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boy.
Hello, friends, and hello, foes, and welcome to the Comedinons. It's a podcast we tried to start when we were, we're in season 3 now. My name
long
is
time ago.
And joining me today is the man, the myth, the legend, the man who is a big fan of focaccias. It's Jono.
Mate, my focaccia game over my annual leave has gone from zero to hero. I was pumping out focaccias left, right, and center. You had multiple of my focaccias.
And they were fantastic.
That's actually something I didn't realize. Every time you came over in my annual leave, there was focaccia available.
It was fantastic.
Focaccias for all. But as you said, Joshua, season 3 of the Comedinons. Holy shit.
We made it.
We made it. Well, we might get cancelled after this episode, but you never know.
We never know.
I think it's worth pointing out what's different about. I'd say there's 3 major things that are different about this year's recording.
We're at a table.
Was
that one of them?
Why? Okay. How did we make it 3 seasons
We
and we
weren't at a
didn't sit
table
at a
before.
table?
We were sitting
We
in
were
a new
lounging
house
on a couch and
at
it was
a certain
bad.
person's new place.
We're now at my new
Your
place.
place.
We're in my kitchen. I'm
I don't
literally
live with you
sitting in my
anymore.
kitchen. No, we're separate entities.
Separate entities.
We're no longer joined at the hip. Or
That's probably for the best,
Yeah,
though.
I think it probably is for
You
the best.
are annoying me.
Sustainability, you
You're
know.
harshing my style.
But I brought you back.
Yeah.
We're sitting at the kitchen table. Mate, this episode's going to be so professional. We can see each other.
We can.
It's great.
Nothing has is wrong.
Josh didn't bring his headphones. So,
Let's not think about that.
So I'm running the buttons and we're live editing the podcast.
That's fantastic. Should we tell the people what we've got on the show today?
All right. We've got the run sheet right there.
Yeah, look at that.
First things first, I tried something new.
Oh.
So new that I did it this morning and I bumped what I was going to be talking about. Talk about this
It's
because
true.
it's newsworthy.
I'm excited. Coming up, I've got 2 stories on this podcast.
Oh,
the first one
2?
is a story of survival.
Oh, did you go on that Survivor show?
No. but
Or
that's
what
a
about
ripper
Alone?
show.
You know that like
I love
SBS
that one
show?
too.
Oh,
I love them
that's so
both.
good.
Oh.
After that, well,
Betrayal.
something happened to me in these last couple of weeks. I got a new job. It's in a new city, and the heart doesn't know quite what to feel anymore. So we're going to talk about that.
And finally, Jono, I thought we have to address it eventually. We're going to talk about the future of Comedinons.
Well, I feel like this is something that we should have done like the AGM last year.
I don't think so. No,
I don't actually know the future of I've not been given the minutes before the meeting.
I'm going to tell you all about the
as the
future of
majority
Comedinons.
shareholder of the
Oh,
Comedinons.
look, there's not much to hold, honestly.
But Joshua, I feel like there's nothing else to do but get started
I'm
on the
excited.
first slide. If you're a die-hard fan, you would remember episode 12 of the Comedinons, season 1, the last episode of season 1, where I cut my finger with a knife.
Is this
with
swimming
with a
as well?
K knife? I went swimming.
I did it. I remember.
You're a die-hard fan.
I'm such a fan. I don't really like Josh. I got to be honest.
That guy, bit hit or miss, but that
Yeah.
Jono bloke, what a legend. I'm a fan as
What do you
well.
got?
So in that episode, I talked about how I'd started swimming. And that
Yeah.
was really my first sort of, what would you
Foray.
call it? Yeah, foray or entrance into like the fitness world in a way. And like I'd run and stuff before, but when you like go to the swim or go to the gym, there's other people there that
Yeah,
are
there
like
was a lot of running stuff we talked about last season as well.
But when you're like swimming and stuff, you're in like a room with other people and it's intimidating. But I got out there and I got the job done.
It's true.
I did the lifeguard in the episode nearly stepped in to save me and he came over to make sure I was all right.
That is a fantastic story.
I've continued the swimming.
Yeah.
You know, when we were living in Brunswick, I pop out every once in a while.
I said Snapchat from you the other day.
This is what we're getting to.
Okay, fantastic.
So I did send Josh a Snapchat, so he has a little bit of a peek under the foreskin about what's going to happen. But yes, I this swimming journey was something that I really liked. And Then, as we will discuss later on, I started a new job and I was talking to the CEO. And one of the things she was saying that she likes to do is go open water swimming.
Oh.
And that did something to my brain.
Yeah, I
thought,
see it.
wow, why don't I try open water swimming? Like, we've all swum in the sea before,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
We've all gone and you're wearing your board shorts, right?
Yeah.
You're splashing
There's
around.
1,000 kids.
Yeah, just
and they're all
everywhere. People on
going,
boogie boards. But then you'll always see that one guy, usually an old guy, who's like super, oh, g'day, mate, how you going? Out the back, past where everybody's swimming.
Swimming laps.
Kind of where like people like stand up paddleboarding. Yeah, swimming laps like parallel to the shore.
Yeah, for sure.
So like kind of out the back, you can't stand up, swimming laps, and you go, what a maniac. And I thought, this sounds like something that's a bit of me.
You went out
I
and did
sound
it.
like that's a bit of me.
That's
so
crazy.
I woke up last night, this Snapchat. Do you want to describe the
Yeah.
Snapchat I sent
So
you
I
last
have
night at
two
like,
Snapchats
what was it,
actually
like
from
10
you.
p.m., 9
I
p.m.?
screenshot them because they were very funny. The first one is I've got a photo of you in a blue bowl cap.
Yep, a swimming cap,
cap
like
with goggles.
baby blue swimming
goggles.
cap with blacked out tinted goggles.
And the second one is you in a wetsuit.
in a wetsuit. I look like, what do I look like? You know those people in the triathlon who like the water's really cold and they're all rugged up
Have you
to
ever
go
seen
swimming?
the old? There's like a black and white version of Frankenstein where the guy.
I know what you're talking
Frankenstein with
about.
the
He's
black
got the
glasses,
goggles, yeah.
and he's smiling.
Yeah.
Imagine that he's wearing a swimming cap and it's blue.
That's right.
And that's who this person is.
It's obnoxiously bright blue.
It's really bad. But
Yeah.
honestly, probably for the best. I mean, if you need to
That's
be
why
saved,
visibility.
visibility.
So I woke up this morning. This is another thing. I want weekends on Saturday mornings. I just want to sleep. I'm
Yeah.
like, I got to get out of that. So I woke up 8 o'clock this morning, jumped in the vehicle, and I drove down
down
to Williamstown Beach.
Damn.
It was meant to be half an hour, but it took 45 minutes because I accidentally went over the Westgate Bridge. And that's a 3.5 kilometre long bridge. So then I had to go all the way over the bridge, go around
all the way-
back,
and then
come all the way back.
back.
But that's to be expected. I've got to factor
mean-
in about 20 minutes of wrong turns if I'm driving.
I mean, you know,
I headed
no one
down
there to help you.
Got to Williamstown Beach. Great, mate. And there's lots of people swimming and stuff. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to be all right. But the heart's starting to pump, getting a bit nervous.
I mean, you know, when you can't touch the bottom, it gets a bit scary, doesn't it?
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Is this a good time to say I'm scared of deep water and just like the ocean in general? Fucking terrified of it.
I mean, Harold Holt.
oh, mate.
Go get Harold Holt.
I'm trying not to do a Harold Holt.
Yeah,
but
better not.
Williamstown Beach, if anyone's a local down the area, you'll know about the yellow poles. So
Yeah.
about 200 metres out from the shore, there's a yellow pole. And then about 300 or 400 metres like
Parallel.
across from that, yeah, there's like another one.
Yeah.
So both 200 metres out from shore. And it's about a 700 metre loop to go out around and come back in. And that's what my plan was to do.
Okay.
I quickly realized after I was in the shallow ends, like knee depth, I did a few strokes and nearly had a fucking panic attack.
Oh, yeah.
That ocean water swimming is a little bit more intimidating than swimming in a pool.
I've always thought that like the gateway to that, and
Yeah.
we might get into this in a segment
Yeah.
coming up, is
Sure.
there's those places that have like beaches, but they'll have a pool right
Oh,
next
yeah,
to the beach.
yeah.
But they're for laps.
Absolutely, yeah. Like icebergs, Bondi icebergs.
Yeah.
Is
That's the one I'm
is a
thinking
famous
of.
one.
That's the one.
Mate, I went into the deep end. I did.
You did.
Well, shallow end to start with.
No,
but
you have to get from shallow to deep.
yeah, that's right. It's a gradual incline.
Jump off the Yeti. Don't do that.
The plan for me this
pier,
first time, I'm like, I'll just go out to the yellow pole, which is like the boat zone, so it's really
Right.
really deep, and come back. I get maybe a quarter of the way out and shit myself. I'm like, I cannot do this. Like, absolutely terrifying. I hate deep water. I couldn't see the bottom. There was like seaweed touch me. I'm like, fuck this.
Get
this.
back, go back,
Okay, go back. So I swam back in a panic, but I reckon I went maybe what'd you say, like chin depth? So I
Okay.
couldn't comfortably stand up, and then I just swam parallel to the shore,
Right.
went in and came back. Probably did about a kilometre.
Okay.
That shit was freeing, man. Holy shit. You're just in the water. You're past all the riffraff, but you're keeping an eye on them. And there's people like paddle boarding and stuff, which is why I've got the blue cap. But if it's not a sunny day, I'm not going, because the water is fucking terrifying.
And it's freezing.
Oh,
if
and
it's
if it
not a
was
sunny
dark
day.
and cold, no way. But that's the thing that scared me, because, you know, sometimes when you're swimming in a pool,
Yeah.
your goggles fog up and you can't really see where you're going,
Yeah.
and it's fine.
Yeah.
You can see where you're going in ocean water. I don't know why. I have no idea why. Maybe because I was wearing a wetsuit, so my body temperature wasn't
Did
too
you have
different.
to go get a wetsuit, or did you have
I
one?
had one. I had
had a
one.
wetsuit?
Yeah, from my
You looked-
surfing days.
Yeah, I bet.
But-
Regular
yeah.
summer high tie or
Yeah.
something.
Oh, mate, living. Oh, what's that show? Hang on.
The animated one?
Home and Away.
Home and the Way.
Is that the one based on the beach?
Yeah, I think they're all based in... No. Neighbours
not.
was inland.
Neighbours was
right.
in Nunawading.
No. You're right.
But yeah, now I have a long-term plan. It's to be the first step. Get to that yellow pole and back again.
All right. Okay.
Every weekend, either Saturday or Sunday, whatever's the hottest day, I'm going to go down that beach.
What happens if
I'm going to try and get to that yellow pole.
Really cold days. Just wait till next day.
Just wait till the weather is hidden right. I can be one of those old guys coming around.
Honest,
the weather's
you
good for a
started
swim.
this a bit late into the season here, mate.
I know. I've started in
Not
what is it?
the podcast season.
Mid-February.
Nearly coming out of summer season.
Yeah.
We had a couple of stinkers.
We had some really nice
today,
swimming days.
And
some very
probably
cold
tomorrow
days.
Apparently, it's going to be kind of hot.
Maybe I should get out there
go
again.
double.
But the best part was walking out of the water, unzipping that wetsuit while you're walking out of the other sand. Everyone thinks you're probably Michael Thorpe. What's his name?
Yeah, sure. I don't know.
Ian Thorpe.
Ian Thorpe. That's him.
Come out, pro swimmer, even though I was just swimming in the shallow end. Stephanie Rice. I was pulling a Stephanie Rice, but I was driving back in the car with the wetsuit down, bare-chested like a real man. And then I realised once you sort of leave the foreshore area, you're just a guy who looks naked driving through Mooney Ponds, and it's a little bit
It's a little bit weird.
But that's my long-term goal.
Oh.
And it's also the end of the first slide.
Exciting. A lot of stories have been told on this podcast.
It's a good avenue. Consider us the old man in the armchair with a picture book beside a fire.
It sure is. And
Grab yourself some popcorn, a cup of tea.
Over the break.
Yep.
You
What
got
break?
into
Last episode was
it was just a few days ago.
Yeah. But over the few days.
Over the few
been a busy
days.
few days. Yeah.
We're back to work. Had a break. Went back to work.
Went back to work. Back to the grind.
Back to the grind.
Doing that Dolly Parton shit.
Exactly. 9 to 5. But I'll tell you what happened recently.
What happened?
Jono. I went back to work and I found myself in a little bit of a pickle.
Oh.
See, because what happened is, as you know, there's lots of kinds of stories. One kind of story that happens is a survival story.
Oh, you're out there in the wilderness.
You're a big fan of rock climbing. Have you heard of the story of 128
I went rock climbing
hours?
in Manly. Yeah, I do. Oh my
Do you want
God.
to tell
It's
the people who
127 hours.
127 hours.
Okay, long story
What is that
short,
story?
this bloke goes rock climbing or like kind of climbing up a mountain, like a cliff face type deal.
Yeah.
And he gets his arm like stuck between like a mountain and a boulder.
Yeah.
And I think he chops his arm off
Yeah,
to
I
get
think so.
out
I
of the
think you're
situation. But he's stuck for 127
And
hours.
he's stuck there.
Yeah, that's a long time. That's
I'm
more
not
than a
gonna-
day.
Now, I'm not going to say I'm more of a hero than that guy.
Oh, mate.
But I'm going to say,
Mate, I
was doing
believe you have the
stuff-
potential to be more of a hero.
You never know. So what happened was I was finishing a
What
day
mountain
of work.
were you up? Hotham, Bulla, Bogon, Yitnathang.
A long building, a big building.
Oh, big building.
Big building.
Were you on
There's
the
lo-
inside?
Let's talk about
Did
it.
you get
I was
stuck in a
inside.
lift?
He's figured it out.
No way.
I got stuck in a lift.
That is phenomenal.
So, a bit of backstory to this.
This is like a bucket list for me, but I'm also claustrophobic, so I would probably have
I
a
didn't
panic
know
attack.
I was claustrophobic.
Oh
When
my
you get stuck
God.
in a lift, you get anxious.
God.
And this is what I mean. I don't want to say I'm as much of a hero.
Let's wind back.
it
Let's
back.
wind
Let's
back.
give a
Oh
bit of
my
context
God.
to this. I was coming to work. I was really
This is great.
frustrated because I
Yeah.
had recently swapped my work laptops. I was switching my work laptops. I got
Yeah.
a nice, fresh new laptop.
Oh,
Ripper.
love a fresh new
What
laptop.
happened though is I was stuck with this big box filled with my old laptop and its charger.
isn't that
I had to
annoying?
bring it
Yeah,
into-
yeah.
I had to bring it into the office.
Yeah.
Where I had to
Is it
bring
like the
down
old
to
computer box?
to the mail room. It
Yeah.
was
Like
a
one of
big,
those
bulky
cardboard
a
ones.
Big, bulky
And it's got the
cardboard
hinges
box.
that you have to like
I
slot
hate
in and
so
go.
bad.
I hate
Your
them. I hate them.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect experience.
I hate those boxes.
Big box.
Yeah.
I was stuck. I had to bring it into work, and that
that's
in itself
annoying.
is frustrating.
Because you work in the big smoke.
Now, what happened was I got into work, and I first found out arriving to start work at 9.
Yep.
That the mail room that I needed to deliver to opens at 9.
Of course they
So
do.
whatever, fine.
course
I
they
bring
do.
it up to my building. I
Yep.
work at like the middle of the building, like
Yep, so
wherever.
like floor
Level
300 kind of thing,
Whatever.
yeah.
You know, I'm a really high ranking official in the company
Yeah.
that I work at.
You
Jono.
started at the bottom, and then
Now,
every time you got a promotion, you get up to
4
300th
beats
floor.
to summer. And what happened was I'm in the elevator. I go
Yeah.
up. I get out at my level.
Okay.
And I do my work. It's fine.
Get the job done.
At my lunch break,
Yep.
I go down to peek at it to double check the timing.
Yep.
It's fine. I check and it says, yeah, thanks for this.
Yeah.
I was worried.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You wouldn't know.
Yeah, you're
Got
welcome.
checked the mail room and it's like, okay. The issue with the mail room though.
So you're down at the mail room?
Down at the mail room is the mail room is where the mail room is. There's two entrances.
Okay.
There's an elevator, but the elevator is on the outside of the building in a separate area.
Oh,
where
I
you
see
have to
what
go
you
down
mean.
like a service elevator.
Yep.
Or you have to go out and go through the car park and go to the mail room.
Oh, that sounds annoying.
I'm not going to go through the car park.
Why would you do that?
I'm finishing at 5.
Yeah.
It turns out,
no.
as I finished at 5, I realized that I actually had to do a bit more work. So I didn't actually finish at 5. I finished at around 6.
Okay.
And I'm like, no, this is fine. I'll still go through the service elevator because I've done it before.
So this isn't
and
your
it's
lunch
fine.
break. You went to check the opening hours
By
in your
the end
lunch
of my
break.
shift, by the end of my shift,
come back
finished by
down.
like 6
Okay.
something p.m.
Got it.
And I'm like, I think I've got time to run down to the mailroom and get it in.
Yep.
Run into the mail, go up to the service elevator. I'm like, I have a trick. I'll go into the service room. I press the button to go down. I look into the service elevator and it closes. Thank you so much.
Was it one of those rinky-dinky service?
I press the beep and it goes bzz, bzz, bzz,
Oh,
and
no.
I'm like, oh no.
Don't have permission to use the
I don't
lift.
have permission.
Fair enough.
Oh, well, that's fine.
Makes sense.
I'll go out.
And get someone
and
to go through the car park.
I press the button to go out
Yep.
and it doesn't open.
Oh no, that's this.
And this was when my
does
heart
starts palpitating.
palpitating.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no.
You're probably white at this
stuck.
point. Yeah.
I can't get in and out. And I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
my God.
what do you do in this situation? You
Cry?
press the ring
Do you
button.
cry?
You know the ring button?
Yeah. It's like
That's
a bell, and it's always
It's a bell.
outlined in yellow.
I pressed the bell. The bell didn't work.
What do you mean it didn't work?
It didn't work, Jono. I can't tell you how much I...
Did it ring
the
or
bell-
anything?
No, it
I
didn't.
thought- that's
there was
so
another
bad.
button. So I'm
Yep.
like freaking out about this for like 5 minutes,
Yep.
10 minutes, as I'm just sitting here trying to figure out what the hell I'm going to do.
You're in for
And I
10
recognize-
minutes? Fuck.
Around on the
That's a
other
long
side
time.
of 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I found there's another button, but it was not very hard to see. It was like a flicky open thing. You had to press the button.
Oh, okay.
I pressed the button.
Oh,
And then
I
I hear
see.
a...
perfect. Help is on the way.
I see the number start going up in the elevator. My elevator is moving. And it goes, hello, mate. And I'm like, yeah,
G'day,
hello,
brother.
mate.
I'm trying to
this
reach
is
you about
Dusty.
your car's extended warranty.
How can I help you? I'm like, I'm in an elevator and I'm stuck.
It's
And he
not
goes,
opening.
what building are you in? And I'm having a very tough conversation with this person who
'Cause you're in an
thinks I'm
elevator.
an idiot. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm stuck in an elevator. I don't know how many times I need to make that very clear.
Yeah.
And then
What
the
is
elevator
his job,
goes
by
up.
the way? Does he just sit there
he
waiting
sits
for
there
people to
waiting
get
for
stuck
someone
in
to get stuck in an elevator? He probably fixes the
Do you reckon
elevator.
he's building specific, or is he
No,
is he the
he
stuck
asked
in
me
the
what-
elevator
He asked
guy?
me what building I'm in.
So
There
he's
must
like
be
the Melbourne
multiple
guy.
buildings
Yeah.
in Melbourne. Then he
And
goes,
he's the stuck elevator
These
guy.
idiots. They're going into a
That's
and he
so
goes, what
funny.
elevator number are you in? I'm like, I've never had to look inside an elevator to
didn't know they had one.
find a number. But it turns out they have numbers. Now I'm in the
Makes
middle of
sense.
this conversation when I realize my number's going down.
Yeah.
And it's actually being called.
Yep.
The door opens and
Oh,
there's
no.
this woman who kind of looks
She's just pissed off because she's been
pissed
waiting
off.
for the lift for
And
15
she's
minutes.
looking at me like I'm an idiot. And I go,
Yeah.
oh, I'm so sorry. And she goes,
And you're like, not wrong, but
I mean, no. And she goes, and she comes in and she shoves me out.
does
And
she
I'm-
come to save you?
No.
So she was just
she was
a-
holding a big tray full of service
She said
things.
she'd been waiting for 15 minutes
some
for
old
this
lady's
lift.
like looking at me like I'm the idiot. And I'm like, look, if you knew
That's
my
annoying.
thoughts, I thought it was smart.
The lift was the buttons were working on the outside, but the buttons weren't working
yeah,
on the
why
inside.
were they working on the outside if I could go in but not
Mate,
come out?
It happened to
And
me
here's the
once,
thing.
but I was only in it for like 10 seconds before someone pressed it, so there wasn't time to panic.
The issue was,
Yeah.
the issue also was that I had been in this elevator before,
Mm.
but now I realize it. I'd been within business hours, and even though there's
So
still
you
people in
were
the building,
after 5 at this point.
I was after 5.
Yeah.
That
So
was my issue.
But it still worked from the outside.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That doesn't make any
I got
sense.
stuck in an elevator, and I can't believe this.
I feel like the button should stop from the outside.
So I now I'm afraid of
Did you cut your
elevators.
arm off?
Yeah, I did.
Well, I
I'm
tell
so
you
afraid-
what, that's dedication to the
yeah,
Comedinons.
I think so.
See you on the next slide?
See you next
if you
time.
get out of the lift, that
We'll
is.
try.
I think we mentioned on the very last episode of season 2 that I'd hung up the hat at Maps and Stats Incorporated.
You have.
Hung
Have
up,
you thought of
hung
a
up the
name?
gloves.
Have you ever thought of a name for
I
the
do.
other one?
I've got a name for it. It's
Okay.
it's in the same vein. I, Jonathan Steele, am proud to announce I'm a geospatial specialist at Drones and Trees Incorporated. you know the company. And
Yes.
Do you reckon that's a fitting name for it?
Sure is.
Drones and Trees. I was thinking
reckon you've
maybe
got it.
Maps and Trees, but I think drones and
Shrubs
trees.
and bark.
Shrubs and Bark Incorporated. No, Drones and Trees Incorporated.
Sure, whatever you want to call it.
In a one-liner,
Yeah.
how do you describe to the people what my new job is without doxing my company at all?
They use drones and they make trees.
Pretty much. We do ecosystem restoration and tree
Okay.
planting using drones.
For sure.
Bang. That's what I do. Perfect fit for me.
Yeah, for sure.
The thing is with this company, when I got this job, the company is not in Melbourne.
It isn't.
It's not in Melbourne, and we'll get to the main course, but we're going to do a little bit of foreplay before we get to the main course.
Sure.
It's not in Melbourne. It's based in Sydney. Well, it's actually based in the UK, but the Australian office is based in Sydney.
It is.
And they're like, sure, just work from Melbourne, work from home every day. I'm like, great, must be nice, but I have a spare bedroom, so set up my office in there.
Yeah.
Ripper.
Look at that.
Off to a flyer. I love it. Get to set my own hours. Don't have to get to the office at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Fantastic.
I just roll out of bed.
I don't know why you said that. That's random.
I can just do stuff in the morning. I don't have to get stuck in the lift. I just walk down the hallway.
That's fantastic.
Off we go. But about 2 weeks in or 3 weeks in, they're like, how about we fly up to Sydney and you come meet some of the team there. You just hang out with us. Sure. Sounds good. Sounds good. And look, I'm a Melbourne man. What is in that office? In my office,
You've got a map of Melbourne.
I got a hand-drawn map of Melbourne in my office.
I don't know if you're being...
It's my pride possession.
Are you in a company or do you have a sugar daddy?
I do have a bit of a sugar daddy. It is a bit of a sugar daddy situation. There was some MacBook Pros involved.
What did you have to do to earn your hotel?
Josh was saying, I think you got a
with?
sugar daddy, and I said, look, I'd bend over for a MacBook Pro, and he would as well.
He sent him a MacBook Pro.
They did. Now, whether or not I bent over is a different situation. But anyway, I
just know the facts. I'm just speculating.
I'm not planning on getting fired this early on.
Doxed.
But
we're not doxing. We're not doxing.
Went up to Sydney and beautiful place, right? I want to talk about the office to start with, because have I told you about the office at all?
No, you haven't.
So it's a very small company. It's a startup I work for, right?
Yeah.
So where our office is, there's a whole bunch of other startups on the same floor. So it's one of those like co-mingling areas, kind of like a WeWork, but like a different brand where you go.
The one didn't go to hell.
Who went to hell?
WeWork went to heck.
Did they really?
I believe so.
They don't exist anymore.
I believe so. But continue.
Oh, wow. Good thing it's not a WeWork. But rather than like one where individuals have memberships, like companies have memberships and you get like a desk or whatever.
Sure.
First thing I hear when I walk into that office, table tennis being played. I'm like, yeah, this checks out.
Yes.
I work at a startup.
Fantastic.
One of the boss men, he takes me for a tour. There's like beer on tap. There's a full like cafe barista machine with like a 5-banger, so you can make like 10 shots of coffee at once. There's just people on it. You just make yourself coffee, any milk that you want in the fridge.
Nice.
This is the place for me.
Kombucha?
I've come home.
Did you have kombucha?
There was kombucha.
I knew it.
There was kombucha. And all the glassware was like colourful.
Yeah, of course.
And they're like pint glasses and stuff. I'm like, this is the office for me.
Got a pint glass, had a pint while you were working.
Why not? The company doesn't have a policy on day drinking. I was told that. So they're like, you got to get it done if you got to get it done.
Yeah.
But all this stuff was sort of swaying me a little bit. And I'm thinking, well, this Sydney, it's not too bad.
I don't know if that's Sydney specific though.
It's not too bad. This was fun. They were buttering me up to like Sydney, right?
Yeah.
And that night was out at dinner in a place called Barangaroo, which is
weird way of spelling it.
a wonderful place. A weird way of spelling kangaroo.
King Mike had a bit of fun on the
King Mike did have a bit of fun with the spelling of Barangaroo. But had a lovely dinner out on Darling Harbour. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful, right? And then one of the ecology team, she goes, do you want to go rock climbing in Manly? Which, if you know this geography of Sydney, it's the other side of the harbour. You kind of have to go into the open ocean a little bit, and it's far up. So we went on a boat at sunset. Beautiful. And I'm starting to think that maybe Sydney ain't so bad after all. So I've brought up some important things in the city. And I've sort of scored them a little bit. Melbourne versus Sydney. And you have right to reply with this, all right?
I'll wait till the end.
You have right to reply. But I think it's good for us to, I have a 1 year lease, but I might nick off to Sydney. So we've got this is a heart to heart. This is a deep and meaningful.
Are you going to make us have to use Lancaster again?
No, God, no. I'm going to fly you up every week to record
not
it.
bad. I'll take it.
But I think this is us having a discussion man to man about what city really is the better city.
Sure.
So the 5 factors of any city that everybody knows. Weather, that's an important one. You've got CBD life.
Yep.
Very important. You've got the natural geography of the place.
Yep.
So not only the environment, but how the city is laid out, how the confines of the city. We've got public transport.
Yeah.
And then the most important thing, and the only thing that really matters is vibe.
I knew it.
That is fantastic.
Continue.
Did you read the reflection in my glasses?
I just
vibe.
It's always vibe.
It's always vibe.
About the vibe of this podcast.
To start with the weather, surprisingly, I've given Melbourne the win on this one.
I think that's probably fair.
Because
Sydney has a bit of flooding sometimes.
That's true. I've been to where I live now was flooded like 6 months ago.
Oh, no, who's counting?
When I went to Sydney the first time, when I was like 13, it was the most humid place I've ever been, even more humid than Queensland. And everyone's like, oh, it's not normally this humid. I don't know what's going on. It's not normally humid. I'm like, okay, fair enough. Maybe it's not normally humid.
No.
I've caught it on a bad day. This whole trip when I was in Sydney for a week, I was just dripping in sweat and I was like 24 degrees. It was the most humid, uncomfortable thing ever. I try and sleep in the hotel, but the air conditioning, it was like leaking. So I had to turn it off and it was just humid and hot. Not it. Sydney, I'm sorry.
You've lost
the point there. You've lost, and I'm an environmental man. I need my weather to be popping.
Yes.
Who would have thought Melbourne weather would be good? But
you know what? It's because it has a nice curvature to it.
That's right. And I've literally written this down. I said the highs are high and the lows are low.
But it's take
perfect.
every part of it.
In summer, you know it's going to be hot as shit, right? And in winter, you know it's going to be awfully cold. But, mate, winter, think about it, right? You're in a little cozy Melbourne cafe. There's a barista with a nice warm beard. You're sipping a hot cocoa.
Yeah.
You feel happy.
Ripper.
So far,
nice.
Melbourne in the lead. Now, the next one, the CBD life. Now, this is a little bit different. It's not vibe, but it's about what's happening in the CBD. That's right. Describe a trip to the Melbourne CBD, right? You go in, you get to Melbourne Central Station, and you walk down Swanston Street. What kind of activities are happening? What kind of shops do you see? What's going on?
I mean, there's a bit of everything, and we're just
eclectic mix.
Eclectic mix, a cultural mixing pot.
That's
walk
right.
Down Swanston Street, which is like one of the main streets.
It's the big boy street in Melbourne.
Get to Flinders Street, which is like the big.
Yeah.
Central station for people who might not be in Melbourne.
You'll see some cafes,
public transport abound,
some office buildings, all mix, and the kind of people walking around. Kinds. Oh, you'll see people in jacket potatoes. I don't know why that came to my mind, but you might see that.
Homeless people.
You'll see some homeless people. You'll see some corporate people. It's a mix.
See a bit of
some uni students.
You will.
Sydney CBD, only corporates. You literally only, like, dead set. Okay, of course, our building, everyone's wearing, like, chinos and sneaks and, T-shirts and stuff. Yeah. But everyone else, especially where we went for lunch in, like, Sydney, there's, like, a main food court area where there's, like, 500 people between 12 and 2 and no one else at any other time of the day. But everyone is literally wearing white or light blue shirts, black pants, fancy shoes or R.M. William boots, that kind of thing. That's the only people you see in the CBD. And what's so weird, there's like not just cafes in the downstairs of these buildings. It's just the whole thing is an office building. There's like no like other stuff to do. It's like you go to the city to work. And if you want to go for a dinner, you go to Barangaroo. You go to a specific spot.
Or you go to the harbour.
Yeah, you go down Circular Quay. Like in the city, it's literally just housing and corporate buildings. Fucking terrible. You go to Melbourne.
Melbourne gets the win.
Oh, Melbourne's got the win for that.
We love
Sydney,
it.
not looking
2-1.
good. Not
2-0,
looking good.
sorry.
2-0. Now, natural geography. My friend, I was down at Port Phillip Bay today at Williamstown Beach going for a swim. That's the shittiest excuse for a beach. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but you go down to Great Ocean Road and they're beautiful.
But that's
beaches.
not in Melbourne, is it?
No.
That's not in Melbourne.
No, it isn't.
If you're in Sydney, go down to Bondi. Arguably, top 5 beaches in the world, right?
Yeah.
When I was on that ferry ride to Manly, we're literally still in the CBD because we're in the heart of the harbour, but there's literally big hills, there's trees everywhere, there's cliff faces. You can't beat the natural geography of that harbour, right? You go through the city. No, it's not this weird upside down horseshoe shape. Yep. It's jagged. Yeah. It's raw. It's gnarly. It's beautiful, right? You can't beat it. And that harbour...
2-1?
I'm sorry. That harbour wins it for Sydney. 2-1. Sydney gets a point. Sydney gets a point. If you try and say that the Melbourne geography is better than Sydney, my friend, no contest.
I will not speak on this yet.
Public transport. Now,
why are you looking at me like
the public transport in Melbourne, I like it. I enjoy it. The trains get cancelled every time you want to go on it. It's great, right?
I know where he's going.
To be fair, apparently Melbourne public transport actually is more comprehensive than Sydney public transport. Like if you live in the suburbs in Sydney, it's meant to be a little bit shitty to get around. You have to get on buses and stuff, and no one wants to do that.
No.
That's not fun for anyone.
But we're talking about the city here.
But I'm in the city. I'm just doing the touristy things, right? I'm going to the bridge. I'm going back to my hotel in King's Cross, which if you know anything about King's Cross, it's an interesting place to be. We're going Circular Quay. The train system, holy fuck. I get out of the airport. I walk 5 minutes in the airport. I'm on a train. Would never happen in Melbourne.
2-level train.
I go straight into the city on the train, and within 2 minutes after leaving the train, I'm in my office. You can't beat that for convenience. And it may be person specific, but you can't beat that for convenience.
I don't know, man. We're building a train line right now, man.
But we're building a single decker train. We're not looking forward to the future.
How do you get anywhere else in the city? We got trams, man.
So they do in Sydney, but they're called light rails. Because I'm like, I feel like I'm home. There's trams. Like, no, they're called light rails here. I'm like, no, get fucked. They're trams.
Trams is just a fun name.
But these trains, man, they've got 2 stories, and then they've got a little mid area where you can stand up. Yeah. You can't beat it. And the other thing you can't beat about the trains, there's 2 more things you can't beat about it, right?
You can use your credit card.
You can 3 things.
Damn
you can use your credit card or your debit card on the thing. Why can't we do that in Melbourne? Like, honestly, Mr. Melbourne looking all smug over here. But you can't say that's not.
I haven't said my comments yet. Continue.
You can't say that's not convenient. Fair. But the final thing I'll say about 2 final things I'll say. I know. I think I was telling you this or King Mike on the weekend, but when you waiting at the train station.
Yeah,
there's the Sydney trains are 8 carriages, and it will come up on the screen. It'll say like Bondi Junction line or whatever, and there'll be 8 squares representing the train carriages, color coded from green to red of how busy that train carriage is. So you can literally go, I feel like sitting down. I don't want it to be busy. These front half of the train's all busy. I'll go to the back. I'll get on there. It's green. It's quiet. You don't have to do that awkward thing where you're walking through the train doors as it's moving. It's all perfect. And the final thing, tying into natural geography, you pull in Circular Quay Station. What do you see? Opera House, Harbour Bridge, open water. Try and tell me a better train station than that in Melbourne.
Go to the next one.
Vibe.
2-all.
It's 2-all. Vibe. Melbourne shits on Sydney for the vibe. Absolutely shits all over it. Have you ever met a nice person in Sydney? No, you haven't. You've never met a nice person in Sydney unless you already knew them.
It's really true.
Do you have anything to say? Because Melbourne, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry? Sydney, I'm sorry. You will never be Melbourne. Is Brunswick in Sydney? No. I don't think it is.
I gotta say though.
Yes.
I love Sydney.
How fucking good is Sydney?
It's a ripper trip. I love the public transport. I don't want to go back on what I was saying.
How good are the trains?
Fantastic. If I'm going to Sydney, I will. You have to stay at Circular Quay, and that is a fantastic place just to be around. I like pretending that I'm more of a stuck-up piece of I am up in the Opera House.
I literally named a segment, an episode, Melbourne Slow Trains, Slow Walkers or whatever.
Yeah.
The walkers in Sydney, everyone's on their shit. Everyone's so efficient and zigging and zagging. And
that being said,
you can walk at
there's
people,
just no character.
There's no character.
People pretend that there's. I'm sure that if you found the right place.
I don't think so.
Maybe
Barangaroo is pretty good.
Barangaroo.
But the vibe of Sydney is just like, we're here to get the job done and not to have a good time. Oh, man, I went to this cafe.
Did you do much nighttime stuff?
I went rock climbing in Manly for one of the nights.
I mean, other than the rock climbing.
No, we went out for drinks and stuff in Barangaroo, like both nights, and that was about it.
Was it like an actual like scene? Was there anything there?
No.
The thing I've heard about Sydney was like there's like a
it closes
like
down.
a drag scene there, but I don't know.
Oh yeah, so where I was staying in King's Cross, it was a lot of strip clubs in my hotel. So there was a lot of stuff going on. But
Sydney's got everything going on. It seems
Sydney's got everything. I just had this thought about Sydney cafes, and it's made me angry. And Melbourne cafes are way better. Describe a cup, like a takeaway cup from a Melbourne coffee shop.
We got this sort of cup, the normal cup shaped thing.
Yep.
We got the plastic
lid.
recyclable lid.
And what
has a little sippy.
What color might the cup be? What pattern might you find?
Sort of like a line, like lines.
Like simple, simplistic. And name 2 colors that you might find on a
light brown.
On a cup. Light brown. That's perfect, right? Yeah. You've described every coffee cup in Sydney. This is how you know that's a red flag of a coffee shop, and you know exactly what I'm going on when I start talking about this. The most obnoxious color, like red or orange or like royal blue with a really intricate pattern on it. Oh. And you see that on the top, and you're like, this is going to be the worst coffee I've ever had in my life.
The best coffee places are the ones that don't don't tell you.
It's simple. At a place where I had a fancy schmancy coffee cup that looked obnoxious, I ordered a Danish, and she's like, on the thing it said apple, apricot, blueberry, right? I'm like, great, I'm in Sydney, I'm going to have a nice coffee, and I'm going to have an apple Danish.
It was all 3.
It was apple, apricot.
You're kidding?
Mate,
how do you have all, what?
That was the moment that I knew I'm not moving to Sydney.
Wait, it was apple, orange.
No, apple, apricot, and blueberry.
But all 3 of those are things you'd expect in separate pastries.
Absolutely horrific.
Nuts. Why are you putting all of them in one?
I was going to move. I wasn't going to come back to Melbourne, and then I had that.
Oh, thank God.
And I couldn't do it.
Glad we don't have to go to these Zencasts again.
What we do have to do.
I got good news for you.
Yes.
Because after we finish this, we're going to talk about something that's definitely going to get you very positive about the future.
Did you just do a lead in?
I fucking did.
Fantastic.
Next slide, baby. Oh my God, it's time for the mid-roll.
Oh, my favourite part. You thought we weren't going to do it this season? You'd be wrong.
They don't know when this is coming in.
They don't.
Well, thank you so much for listening.
Honestly.
Episode 1, we're back.
Episode 1, you're back.
Start.
Mate, absolute cracker.
I'm loving
Can I
this
just say,
so far.
we've killed this.
I don't know where this
If the audience listening to it, you don't like, I'm just going to leave it here. The 75%, because this is the thing. They get halfway through, they go, no mid-roll. And then they put the phone in their backpack, they sit back on the bus, and then mid-roll, and they can't skip.
It's not really, it's 3/4 roll.
I got him.
But we got something to announce. We have a website.
And a good one.
And it's a good one.
And it's not some weird, wacky one that we used to have with like...
No.
We're not going to talk about that.
I tell you what, the person...
What's the URL? How do they go to it?
Comedinons.com. Comedinons been working on it.
Working hard. Been putting coal in the fire.
Comedinons. Get on comedinons.com.
Not .au.
Spelled like how we spell it on the podcast.
Spelled how you would naturally spell Comedinons.
Comedinons.
That's right. So comedians, but nons and no hyphen.
No hyphen.
Just type it in. No hyphens you'll find it. No hyphens.
We have no hyphens.
That was a logistical nightmare.
Comedinons.com.
Yep.
Go on that website.
You'll see
there's a thing on the side you can click on.
Yeah.
You can record a message for us.
And I'm going to give them 3 prompts.
Fantastic. Right? I had some ideas.
I just thought about this right then. First one, have you seen a Karen in the wild? Is there a Karen that we need to talk about? Right? Perfect. And give us 30-second message. Hi, my name's Derek. You can make up a name, where you're from, and then just say, I saw this, blah, 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 blah.
Yep, fantastic.
As little or as much as you want. Second one, suck us off. Just pump gas into our tires. Just say, we love you. You're awesome. We won't play it on the show. We'll just listen to it before we go to bed to make us feel a little better.
We might play them in this bit.
We'll play them in this bit. That's what we'll do. That's good. See, I like that. 2 brains are better than 1. Yeah.
And the third one?
Avengers. If you find a category of people, do your own mini Avengers. Say, I was on the bus and I saw these people and he would be my full forward, he'd be my winger, he'd be my that.
Ripper.
And we'll discuss.
Ask us a question. Give us something
right.
to complain about, something you want us to address.
My boyfriend doesn't put the seat down when he goes to the toilet. Let's talk about that. We'll talk about that.
We'll talk about it.
Say,
give us something
I
to
made a banana bread on the weekend.
If you don't want to record a message, you'll never believe it. We also have a form where you can send us an email.
Incredible. And it's a very good website. You'll be able to figure it out.
It's all there. Go on to comedinons.com.
Yeah.
Have a bit of fun.
That's right.
We'll see you on the next episode.
Sounds good.
Jono, the future is scary.
Is this an AGM?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. I've got my tie on.
You do?
Yeah. I've
I
got my
also have a
briefcase.
tie on.
We've got about 500 computers out, literally, so this is good. We're going to
Now,
talk
Jono,
business.
we're talking business. We're not really talking business.
We're not
but
talking
one thing
business.
that happened when we finished the podcast,
Yeah.
and something that happened that sort of came up sort of towards the end of last year and
End of
more
season
into
2.
this year.
Yep.
End of season 2 that came up was artificial intelligence.
That's true.
Artificial intelligence.
There's
has
lots of
gone
it. We have an
bonkers.
AI department at work.
We have
it's where the
bonkers
moolah
It's
is.
everywhere.
Oh,
It's everywhere.
are you
I've
going to
been
replace me
loving-
with an AI?
I've been loving AI.
Like, we're talking like Chat GTP, stuff like that.
GPT.
It's actually unbelievable
Art.
what this
It's
technology
nuts.
can
I've
do.
been loving just playing around with it.
I think Adobe has
Now,
one where it can
what I-
literally just like predictive speech. It's insane.
nuts.
Absolutely
Jono,
insane.
what I've done here,
Yeah.
you can open.
I've got an
open it
email
here.
from Mr. Schwar over here. Okay, this is what I was expecting. I like
what
this.
I have done is
Yeah.
I have asked ChatGPT
Are you
to
serious?
make a script.
You didn't write this?
I didn't write any of this.
No way.
I've not written any of this.
You are kidding
I
me.
have done a couple regenerations to make sure it works.
But you haven't edited it. You've
no
just
touching
gone.
to editing.
Fuck. Okay.
I've done.
How
there's
does this
multiple
work?
sections
What,
of it.
what do you have to
so There are
do?
a few sections, and it only probably does about
Okay,
like 10
we've got a script, by the way, and
got
it
a
says
script here.
Josh, Jono, and there's like some
what
like
this
stage
is
directions.
This is going to be
Oh my
our
God.
AI episode of
You
the
are
Comedinons.
kidding me.
This goes a little bit long, so I don't know how much we'll end up doing, but it's probably going to be pretty
Well,
fast. once
let's
we
just
get
do
to
it all. I can cut it out if we
If
don't
we
like
need
it.
to?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Oh my God.
So what I thought we'd do is we'll just start reading this.
Can you
And what-
explain how you got this in the
Right.
first place?
So there's the people that did Chat GPT is called OpenAI.
Okay.
I went
Yep.
to their website.
Yep.
I made an account.
Yep.
You can just start using it. You can
So
also
do you
pay
have
for
to
it.
like upload stuff we've done, or do you just say we're
this
two
is- this
white
is-
boys?
So what
give
I
us a
did was I
podcast?
said,
This
I
is
probably have it-
crazy.
actually, I could probably tell you.
That's all right.
exactly
Just
what
do
I-
it off the dome. Yeah.
Effectively, I said, write a script for a podcast,
Yep.
but called the Comedinons.
Okay. Yep.
Where Josh and Jono speak about blank,
This
and
is
then
amazing.
it ends with "see you on the next slide," and then it just blurted out something about the topic. So whether that was write a intro segment,
Wow.
write a outro segment, write a segment about something.
What are we
something
doing
other.
coming up with
So-
material?
So what we're
Let's
gonna do?
Let's start from the stage directions.
We're gonna
It
start
says
writing.
Intro music plays. We'll see you on the episode.
Yeah.
Let's get going.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Welcome to the Comedinons, the podcast where Josh and Jono bring their unique perspectives and humor to the world of comedy. Hey there, I'm Josh.
And I'm Jono.
And together, we're the Comedinons.
That's right. Every week we sit down to talk about our favorite comedians, comedy movies, and all things funny.
We've been friends for years, and our love for comedy has only grown stronger.
Yeah, and now we get to share that love with all of you.
Whether you're a diehard comedy fan or just looking for a good laugh, we've got you covered.
So sit back, relax, and join us on our journey through the world of comedy.
It's time to get our comedy on. Hey, Jono, did you hear about the latest trend among boomers?
No, what is it?
They're all getting into podcasting.
Oh no, not the boomers.
Yeah, I know. They're taking over the airwaves.
Well, I guess we better watch out, or they'll be taking over the Comedinons too.
Don't worry, we'll be more ready for them. Welcome back to the Comedinons, the podcast where we bring humor to the world of comedy.
That's right. This week we're sharing a story about a Karen we met recently.
Oh boy, where do I even start with this one?
Well, I think we both exactly know who you're talking about.
So we were at the grocery store, and this woman, let's call her Karen, started complaining about the long line at the checkout.
And that's just the beginning. She then proceeded to demand to see the manager and make a scene about how she was in a hurry.
Yep, that's what a Karen does. What? And the best part was that the manager handled it like a pro and calmly explained that there were only one cashier available at the moment.
But Karen wasn't having it. She continued to make a fuss and caused a scene in the store.
It was like she was trying to win an award for the most entitled customer.
And then we just had to sit back and watch the show. It was like a comedy routine, except it was real life.
I think we can all relate to encountering Karen in our daily lives.
Just a reminder that you never know what kind of entertainment you're going to find in your everyday life.
And with that, we'll say goodbye to now.
See you on the next slide.
Welcome back to the Comedinons with Josh and Jono. Today we're going to be talking about food.
That's right. Let's get started.
First up, we have pizza.
Pizza. Who doesn't love pizza?
Then there's tacos.
Tacos, always a good choice.
Burgers are always a classic.
Excuse me, that was my line.
And let's not forget about burgers.
Burgers, always a classic.
And last but not least, ice cream.
Ice cream is the perfect way to end a meal.
All right, that's it for today. Let's see you on the next slide. Welcome back to the Comedinons, the podcast where we bring our humor to the world of comedy.
That's right. Mate, how short are these episodes? Today we're discussing a topic that's close to all our hearts. The interesting people we see on public transport.
Ah, yes, the public transport people. It's like a never-ending source of entertainment.
Absolutely. Have you ever seen the guy who sings loudly to himself on the bus?
Don't even get me started. I think we can all relate to being stuck next to a person who's just had a bit too much in their own of performance.
And then there's the people who seem to be having the most important conversation in the world on their phone.
Right. They're yelling into their phone, gesturing with their hands, and completely ignoring everyone else around them. Like they think they're the only ones on the bus.
And let's not forget the person who falls asleep with their mouth wide open. It's always a treat.
And the best part is they don't even realize they're being watched.
It's like a live performance for the rest of us.
I think we can all agree that the public transport would be a lot less entertaining without these people.
Oh, absolutely. So next time you're on a bus or the train, just remember, you never know what kind of performance you might get to see. There's no note saying next slide here.
No. Welcome back to the final segment of the Comedinons, the podcast where we bring humor to the world of comedies.
Spelt with a Y. That's right. And to wrap things up today, thank fuck, we're talking about something near and dear to our hearts. Music.
Absolutely. So let's start with you, Jono. What's your all-time favorite album?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think I would have to say The Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. It's just a classic, and the production, out of this world.
Nice choice. For me, it's a time between the Joshua Tree by U2 and Nevermind by Nirvana. Both albums really define their respective genres and have stood the test of time.
Oh, absolutely. And what about a more recent album?
I really enjoy Damn by Kendrick Lamar. That's true. I actually was just listening to it.
Yes.
It's a well-crafted album and the lyrics are so impactful.
I agree. Kendrick Lamar is a lyrical genius. And for me, I think it would have to be Folklore by Taylor Swift. It's a departure from her typical pop sound, and she did an amazing job with the storytelling on that album.
Yeah, it's great to see artists evolve and take risks with their music.
Oh, hang on, I've lost. Oh, yeah, I'm back. Absolutely. Well, that brings us to another end of the Comedinons.
Well, it's been great chatting with you, Jono.
Likewise, Josh. And to all our listeners, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and we'll see you next time. Did you write this shit?
No, I didn't. I actually didn't write a single thing from this. This is all done on AI. This was all done through ChatGPT.
What? There were some elements in this that I'm like, okay.
So
it's first of all,
it's
it's spelt perfectly. So I'm like, okay, you didn't write it. And it's structured very weirdly. So I'm like, okay, it's AI.
Some of it probably didn't come up with the next slide thing.
It knows us so well. The Taylor Swift and Kendrick Lamar. How did it know that?
It's random.
You're a Kendrick Lamar person. I'm a Taylor. I'm a Swiftie.
It has nothing. I don't. That's actually random.
Did you put anything into it?
No, I didn't. Here's what happens. There are each of those segments.
Blows
you can tell
my
where
mind.
It was broken into sections.
Yeah.
Each of the segments, I was like, they talk about boomers. They talk about a Karen. They tell a story about a Karen.
You could
they tell a
like
story
little
about
prompters.
This is how I said. I said, write
this
a
is the
script
things
of a
they
segment of the Comedinons.
Unbelievable.
Featuring Josh and Jono, where they both where they talk about the people they see on public transport.
Can I tell you something though?
Yeah.
Legitimately better than some of the segments we've actually come up with.
Better than Shocking Facts.
We've had some, like literally even some stuff like Karen stories or some bus stories that we've done.
I tell you what,
these are like legitimate.
Very general.
They're generic, but
super generic.
If you're listening to it in the background while you're at work or something, you wouldn't notice.
You wouldn't notice.
That is
but
absolutely
I will say, I think we could do a lot better than that now.
We can, but holy shit, I can't believe science is amazing.
Science is amazing. I tried to get you spooked, and I think I might have done a little.
I
bit
thought
of a
you wrote it. The Taylor Swift,
Not
I'm
a
like,
single
he
thing.
wrote this.
I actually didn't.
Insane.
The funny thing is, the hilarious thing is, sometimes it'll do different kinds of things when you generate it. So a couple times it would generate something, and I would regenerate it.
Yeah, but you're not writing.
I'm
it. You're
not
not
writing
editing
any
it
of
or anything.
I just press the regenerate button. I got to tell you one brief thing that happened.
Yeah, please do.
So when I'm
juice.
regenerating them, so I did a couple like a week and a half ago. Then I did a couple more today to see if I got any better ones.
Yeah.
The better ones were done today. I don't know what I did differently, but some of the ones I did today,
you let it cook.
Karen and the public transport ones, they worked way better. I don't know why. But one thing that did happen is
Insane.
I asked it to do a segment about talking about comedy.
Yeah.
And the first thing it did is it
not
wrote a
bad.
script.
Oh,
it wrote a
like
script
one of the ones
where
that
we
you did.
both talked about Louis C.K. So I thought we might
Let's
not want to talk
do
about
that.
that
Let's
one.
not do that. I've
It
almost
definitely
lost my
has a
job this episode, so let's not do that.
But then it asked us to talk about Kevin Hart, and I don't think either of those are really up our lane.
That comedy segment it did at the beginning, that worked. That worked well.
It was a bit fun.
I tell you what, I hope no one got spooked out by the next slide in all the middle of it. Someone's probably like, oh, so that segment's ended. Now this is actually them. Hang on a minute. But anyway, for real, the real Joshua and Jonathan will see you on the final slide.
Taylor Swift wrote the song 22, and this is episode 52 of the Comedinons.
Close enough. Close enough. Thank you for listening to the first episode of season 2. Season 3.
You did season 2. We're
Wow.
past that.
We're
man.
in season 3.
We're in
We are
season
living
3.
in the future.
We're living in the future.
Absolutely incredible. Mate,
I hope
can
you
I
guys
just
weren't
say...
confused about that last segment.
Yeah,
I tried my hardest.
that may a little bit confusing.
We'll figure it out.
But it was fine. No. If they're stupid enough to not understand it, that's their fault. No, honestly, AI, I can't believe it.
It's crazy.
It burnt through the segments. Like our show would be literally
they were
2 minutes long. But I honestly thought Josh had written this. Because you're a Kendrick Lamar man, I'm a Taylor Swift man. When that's happened, I'm like,
when I generated
this.
that, I saw that is nuts.
So it just randomly, you didn't
didn't touch it. No touching.
Insane, absolutely insane. But honestly, we've been doing this. This is our 3rd calendar year of doing the Comedinons.
Yeah,
because we started in 21. It was around mid-year.
It was
after my unfortunate breakup. So that was around about August or September.
21.
We did from like March to November or December of 22, and that's February of 23. Mate, we are killing this shit. We're absolutely on our game. I'm
excited to be back podcasting with you, man.
Best episode of the season so far.
I tell you what, honestly, of the season so far,
of all the seasons so far, top 3.
Oh, this is a really good episode.
We're sitting at a table. It's changed everything. Can I just say?
Great. I get to have my arm leaning on a chair.
My arm was leaning on a chair, and then it was leaning on a different chair.
Oh.
I know the people
we're gonna do this now.
Don't understand this so much better. Yeah.
We're going to go back to our recommendations.
Josh is going to kick us off of something to watch over like the next month or read or listen to.
Something to read.
Yeah.
I got something for you. It's not.
Okay.
It's the thing that's been in my mind recently that I started reading.
Mm-hmm.
There's an artist. I told you on the weekend, Jono. I went to go see an author on.
You went to see
reading of an author.
An author talk. We were okay. Can I say when you were telling me this?
Go for it.
We were in an Uber. Like it was like a 4-seater car, but there were 5 of us in there. Like when the middle seat is a seat, but it doesn't really actually exist. There were 5 people total in this car.
Driver plus 4 of us.
King Mike was like sitting inside me. It was that tight. Anyway, and
Josh
didn't know what a Toyota Cougar was.
Yeah, I didn't know what a Cougar was. That was funny.
Anyway,
I went to go see David Sedaris, who is an author.
What a boring thing to do.
It was fantastic. It was super funny.
Great.
And I would like to recommend his most recent book,
Yeah.
Happy Go Lucky.
Happy Go Lucky.
So he writes
what kind of style book
collections
is
of
it?
stories.
Shorts, fictional?
Sort of humorous sort of stories, essays, things about his life and about other things.
Is it like semi-autobiographical kind of stuff?
Well, no, it's about stuff that happens to him. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's non-fiction.
It's I would say non-fiction, and he sort of writes...
Adds a bit of mayonnaise.
It's not one whole
stuff.
thing. It's like different segments.
Oh, cool.
Different little stories.
Mate, I'm halfway through a book.
He writes like essays for the New Yorker. So that's the kind of thing he does.
I'll give it a read next.
It's
if
fantastic.
I find any libraries near you.
I could probably give it to you once I'm done with it.
That's an even more efficient way of doing this. Like, look at that. Let's working this out.
What do you got for us?
Taskmaster.
Ah, yes.
One of the best shows that ever come to television, honestly. A 5-second recap of Taskmaster. Comedinons, British comedians who are actually funny. They have to do like silly tasks or whatever. And it could be like, do you want a brush that's 6 foot long or 6 foot or like 6 inches long? And then you have to do a painting. And it's all sorts of hilarious things, right?
Yeah.
Great. And they've got great banter. It's come to Australia.
Come to Australia as well.
I've been watching it. It holds up. Have you watched it?
I haven't watched it yet, but I've been bulking up episodes.
Get around to it. It's good. The only shit thing about it is that the British structure doesn't fit with the Australian TV breaks. Yeah. So they have to split the task over, and it's a bit weird.
That sucks.
But it holds up. You know when you watch an adaptation and you're like, I'm kind of missing the odd one. They copy it like 60%, but then 40% is like a new twist, kind of a new flavor, different spices. They don't try and be like the host from the old show. It's
like
different.
The New Zealand one, actually. New Zealand one
it's very similar to that.
They had the same vibe,
but they play their own characters. They do their own thing, and it's great.
Blue cars are fast. Red cars are faster. I love a man.
Josh loves dropping comments from my B-reel on this show.
I really do. That was my comment. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, but what was it? Blue cars are fast. Red cars are faster.
Gotta love a man who watches Taskmaster. I reread your one. I'm going to be honest. It doesn't really work. So I thought I'd break it to you on the podcast.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the first episode. Check out our Instagram.
Comedinons.com.
Comedinons.com. Send us an audio message, and we'll see you for episode 53.